It's a brand new start of the new year, and I've already been sick for 3 days of 4, so that's cool.
75% of this year you've been sick, huh?
Yeah, 75% success rate, some might say. Yeah, it's been awful, actually. Today's been the day that I finally started feeling a little bit better, but, it happens to the best of us.
It does, and the worst.
It's true.
You just happen to be one of the best.
I hope so. 2022 was like, man, we got to take Trevor out for the count.
He had too good of a time in 21.
Yeah.
Sit down for a minute, Trevor. Calm down.
Sure. We'll say that. Podcast number 10. So it's 2022 coming, and obviously there's been a lot of goal talking and making plans and hopefully getting head start on all of those for everybody. And I think what's more important to talk about, which we are going to be talking about today, is the power of our minds and our body.
Beautiful.
My voice is going to crack so many times on this.
That's okay. You're sick. Everyone knows. Basically, that means to us, the power of our minds over our bodies is that your mind is really what pushes you to do the hardest of hards. We have a few examples also to help alliterate this, if that's the right term. I don't know.
It sounds sophisticated enough.
We have some examples to show what we're talking about. Basically, that's the idea, is that your brain is what pushes your body to do more than you thought expected.
And just like the power that our mind can have through our experience as well. So like for me, when growing up, I went hunting a lot with my dad, and I never really enjoyed it as much as he did. And so sometimes I was just not a happy camper and not having a good time.
Literally.
Yeah, seriously. You're so punny. And I don't know, I just always had this like negative feeling towards hunting sometimes. Like I enjoy it and I like going with my dad, but I'm not as intense as he is. But recently, the past year or two, I have filmed a couple hunts and like gone out and experienced hunting in a new, different, adventurous way. And because it was work and because it was film, I did enjoy it more. And I just kind of told myself that it just needs to, or I realized that when I had an optimistic mindset when I was out there, that I would enjoy myself. Because sometimes I would still this year like, man, like hunting still isn't my favorite thing in the world, and I wish I was doing something else. But it was just so nice to be out in nature and, again, just like working out there and doing what I like. So I realized that having a better mindset and like wanting myself to be happy, that I ended up being happier through it all. That makes sense?
For sure. Yeah.
So I guess don't be such a downer.
Yeah, that is true. Your mind has a lot of influence not only over your physical accomplishments or like physical capabilities, but also your emotional situations. Even breaking up in relationships, I think, it can be like I'm super depressed, I don't have anybody else, versus the mindset of, and these are just simple examples, versus the mindset of I'm going to go out and find a new person, or like I'm happy to be on my own now. There's a lot of different ways, like you said, with hunting and just life, that your mind, I think when you're aware of your mindset is when you have more power over how you feel each day, I guess.
Yeah. It's the power of choices.
Agree? Right.
Yeah, I think we all have different choices, and at least that's what I thought of like when you were talking about that, because that brought me to another instance that I thought about. It's like choosing to be happy or choosing to be depressed, right? Sure. Or choosing to overcome the trial or let the trial overcome you. This summer when I was fat, you just bad shape in all senses of the word.
The lowest of Trevor.
Definitely low. For sure. Not lowest, I don't think. So, anywho, I started to realize that like my shirts were getting really tight. And I was super self-conscious. So I would always wear like these really large shirts because it was the middle of summer also. And I started to question, I was like, should I go out and buy new shirts and like buy large shirts? And I was kind of leaning to that. But if I do that, then I am just giving myself the okay to be fat.
To stay where you're at, basically.
Right. It's like in order to make myself feel comfortable, I'm going to buy larger shirts. But instead, I was like, no, I just need to keep my shirts and work on my own body to make myself feel comfortable.
Work on your body to fit your clothes and not your clothes to fit your body, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly right. That's another mindset thing for sure. I don't know.
Mindset duo thingy.
And it's not like magic, because there's also times like with weight is an easy one of I want to weigh more, I want to weigh less. And you just saying that or believing that isn't going to do it either. You know, like you can't just say I'm going to not go buy clothes and then I'm going to lose weight. So it's not the direct correlation, but it is, again, it's more of the mind. It's the mind's power of saying, look, you don't need to buy more clothes, Trevor. You just need to go to the gym, or you need to run, or do whatever it is your mind was telling you to do to get your body more in check than your wardrobe.
Yes.
Right?
I still need to update my wardrobe because I've been wearing the same clothes for years, but
haven't we all?
Minor detail. But I think it's also very important to note that just because I made that decision and I did lose weight, that it's not like a one-stop quick fix, you know?
Right.
It is also just very hard to stay consistent and healthy and motivated and all these things. So, like, there are definitely ups and downs, and I think that's something that I just want people to, like, realize is that just because you and I are like putting ourselves in front of the camera or like into the social media world, that we're still like not perfect. You know what I mean?
For sure. 400% sure. There are some people who also aren't perfect, but have a lot more extreme examples of this. David Goggins being one of those, if you know who he is. Basically, his whole life is that story. There was a time when he became obese in his 30s, I'm pretty sure, and one day saw an advertisement for Navy SEALs and wanted to be a Navy SEAL. So basically, he was so dedicated to that goal, he lost a bunch of weight and got in shape and was able to join the Navy SEALs, long story short. So that's like an extreme, very long story short.
Very short.
You should just read his book.
Can't hurt me.
You should read his book. Yeah, Can't Hurt Me. Or just watch YouTube videos and stuff of him. You'll get a good sense of who he is and what he stands for. But his life is a good example, like an extreme example, I think, of the mind over the body, all of the running he did, all of the...
Yeah, give me some examples.
When he lived in Indiana and it was freezing cold when he made this decision to be a Navy SEAL. And in the Navy SEAL, they have a lot of cold training in the Pacific Ocean in California. Again, like this overweight dude can barely run. I remember one of the first stories he told was when he first went out to jog, he thought he could run a mile and couldn't even get like 400 feet or something like that. I can't remember the exact distances. And then there's another story of later when he was traveling and it was freezing cold and he would like get in the water and swim and like in this pond when it was freezing cold, or he'd be running by people and it was freezing cold while they were driving. Like he would just get weird looks. He'd talk about all kinds of stories like that where his grind was in some really difficult times. It wasn't also like he was just working out when he felt like it. Like this dude changed his whole life, like upside down basically. So it is a pretty extreme.
Can I add something?
Please help me out here.
I got you. He also had to learn how to swim, first of all.
Oh my gosh.
The homie didn't even know how to swim. And he was like, well, I'm either going to drown or I need to teach myself how to swim. So anyways, he does that. This guy has ran on broken legs, broken feet. Like, he's intense.
And like over 100 miles.
Right. He's done like ultra runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ultra marathons. He's a crazy example of that for sure. There's another guy actually who's kind of like, I picture him as the opposite version of Goggins in my mind, because instead of like pushing yourself to breaking points and strict and in your face, it's like this guy. Yeah. He's Wim Hof is his name. He's the Iceman. He's other known. He's as he is known at whatever. And
as his name is known.
His nickname, Iceman.
Iceman. All right, Iceman.
And he uses the cold as therapy, basically, like sitting in ice cold baths for hours and meditating and powering and using your brain to keep your body the same temperature.
Is this the guy that focuses on breathing?
Yes, breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, like So it's not, instead of like pushing yourself and running on broken legs and running and running and running and running miles, he's like, I'm just going to sit in this tub of ice for hours and hours and hours. And his body, like they've done studies and his body temperature is the same. And it is because his mind is so focused on his breathing and like his circumstance. I don't really know exactly how he does it. I haven't researched him enough to know all that stuff, but
I feel like I've heard a lot about that stuff, like breathing to control your body, I guess.
It's like meditation, right? You're just focused on your breath and it's healthy and good.
Have you ever tried anything like that?
Definitely tried stuff like that.
What kinds of stuff?
The meditating, the breathing stuff. I actually had a conversation with a coworker. He was new to the hospital, so we just struck up a conversation. Basically, this guy did some kind of huge meditation schooling thingamabobber and loved it. And he's going to hate me for not knowing what it is, but whatever. Anyways, Sho was talking to me about his journey and his life with meditating and yoga, because he does do a lot of that stuff. That he was talking about just the sense of all you know in the world at that moment when you're meditating is just your breath. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And so I did try it one morning before work. That was it once, and it was good.
So you're a master.
We're professional.
A yoga guy, master.
Yeah, you can call me Doctor.
Just doctor, please. That is interesting. Something that I've always wanted to do actually is whatever in the next few years just goes totally sideways and I have nothing to do. Like you get married and you move away and I'm like, well, cool. And I have nothing going for me.
You always say I'm the one who's going to get married. You're the one who's talking about it. Oh, it'd be so nice to just have a girl to go home to. And stuff
Okay,
like that.
yeah, whatever. Anyways, it's not important. I would love to go learn from monks or just go and be a guru somewhere. Dad.
Not now, Dad.
Not now, Dad. I'm podcasting with my friends. Like, get out of here. Shut the door. I'm podcasting. In here.
The culture, Asian monks.
Yeah. I think it would just be really cool to experience that and to get away from all like social media or the internet, just everything,
just the distractions of life, literally of life. You're out there focusing on your breath.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I would do that for a month. Like, I would love to go and do that.
I definitely think that would be awesome. And you have talked about that. That's for sure something.
It would be a good retreat for me.
Yeah. Kind of a side tangent, but going back to the brain instead of the breath. Another cool thing I feel like is just the ability. There's a few different phrases I've heard it called throughout my life, but we're calling it personal manifestation. And it is the idea that when your brain is focused on a goal or just focused on something very intently, that it becomes true. Like you're basically personally manifesting something in real life through your brain. Okay, so an example would be if I see Pierce, me, only driving a Mustang, then that's all I'm going to be working towards. And that's all that, like, my mind, my energy, my work, my planning, kind of all is revolved around that idea. What's that?
It's like making your dream a reality from making goals and plans and working towards it. So, like, if you're just envisioning just Pierce just cruising down Main Street with this Mustang, and that's literally all you can think about, then, like, it will eventually happen because that's the only thing that you're dedicated towards.
Right. And that makes sense when you say it. Like when your life is so focused on something, of course you're going to get it. But, well, not of course, actually. I think it is. I think it's just this manifestation of your life being the way you want it to be. You're imagining your life a certain way, and then you make it happen, you know? And I think what you said is perfect.
Yeah, it's like if you want it, go and get it. Like, it's totally achievable.
Exactly. If you want that Mustang, go get it. If you want a Tesla, if you want the good body like Trevor, go get it. If you want a good interior body, eat healthy and take care of yourself. There's just like whatever your main interest is in this life is accomplishable.
Is yours.
It's all yours.
It can all be yours today for 50% off.
Buy one now.
Get one free.
If you call in the next 5 minutes, we'll double your order.
No way. Yeah, so anyways, it's basically you can obtain whatever you're willing to put the effort into. Like we said, know that it's going to be ups and downs until then. Can I ask you a question?
Please.
this is kind of on the similar story of just power of mind and life and overall life, I guess. So my question is, what do you think the purpose of life is?
You're going to ask me that right here, right now?
Right here, right now.
For everyone to hear?
Yep, for everybody.
The purpose of life?
Yeah.
Is this supposed to get like philosophical?
Just whatever comes out of your mouth.
Well, Trevor, the meaning of life is death.
I would agree with that for sure.
I knew you would. The meaning of life. God, the meaning of life. What the hell is the meaning of life?
I don't know, really, truthfully. I've just realized how young I am and how many years there are to go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm only a quarter of the way done with this life. Like, there's so much to do and so much to
learn and see and experience.
But like, what's the purpose of it all? So that's my question for you.
Okay, well, I guess right here, right now, in this moment in my life, the purpose of life is experience. That's all it is. I don't really know why. I don't necessarily feel like there has to be a reason why, but I think that that's the reason for living is experience. So in that's kind of what's sparking everything in my life the past year, 2, 3, most of it, I guess. Realistically, I guess most of it. But basically, I don't know why we're alive. I don't know like what the deeper meaning of life really is, but I know that I'm alive, and so I'm going to go experience all the different kinds of foods and all these different cultures and all these different places. And like you said, like going and being a monk interests you because that's a totally different lifestyle, and that's something you can go and experience like for real, for yourself, and feel it and be it, you know? So I think that's my answer, is just experiencing whatever it is you want to experience in this life. You can, and it is possible. What is the meaning of life to you? It's a tough one. Huh?
Yeah, it really is. I feel like I haven't really known recently. And for that reason, I asked you.
Beautiful.
But I definitely agree with your answer on experience. And I think there's a lot to learn, like you were saying, and I think there's just so much to live for. Just like finding experiences that make us happy, experiencing new things and stuff and new places and new beauties rather than just like sitting at home, because that just makes life really boring.
Right.
But honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. I mean, I don't really know, but that's what I think. When you said that, it made me think again, and we've had this conversation before, of how I used to feel frustrated. I used to be just annoyed or confused of why people would ski all the time if they could, or ice skate, or
Snowboard,
surf,
like, yeah.
You know, whatever like it is, but that's their thing, and they just do it all the time, and they talk about it all the time. And I used to be like, dude, get a life.
There's so much more to
like,
live
yeah,
for.
go experience something else. But now that I'm thinking about it, what you said is so true. If they love that, why would they do something else? Like, what's the point of going to experience other things if they get a thrill every single time they do it, you know? Or if them perfecting that sport or that hobby is like what they love about this life, then sure.
I guess it's finding something in life worth living for. And sometimes that is like an activity. Sometimes that's
a person,
or people. I feel like a lot of people have a great sense of living when they have kids and a family, and you know, they are living for them and they want to watch them grow up and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess I just need a family. I just need to get married. Like,
yeah.
No, absolutely not. All the girls listening to this can just back off. Don't talk to me.
Do not talk to him. He's fine.
You're canceled.
He actually is fine. He's okay.
Thanks. It's probably better coming out of your mouth than my mouth. People will believe you. So yeah, I'm glad that you answered that. I'm glad we answered that.
Yeah, I'm glad you
It was a good
answered
conclusion. Living for experiences and finding a reason to live.
Right. Yeah, and I think even that original, very first kind of joking, kind of not joking answer about living for death, like that's also true because we all are living to die eventually. Like we're all alive now, but we are going to die soon too.
Well, that's
not
what we
soon,
talked about.
You know, relatively
well,
soon.
maybe soon.
Yeah, who knows?
Tomorrow.
Tonight.
But in my sleep. That's what we talked about last podcast, though. Living and dying simultaneously.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are we living or are we dying?
That depends on what you're doing
Half
while you're
full,
alive, I guess.
half empty. I guess.
True. Again, whatever your mind is focused on. Are you focused on death all the time? Or are you focused on life?
What will you be today?
Will you choose life or death,
death.
today?
If you choose one, you can get the other 50% off. Call in 5 minutes.
Just to, I guess, really tie it in for like real life application. In going back again, I feel like we're beating a dead horse, but the new year and goals and plans, that's kind of when you write down your goals and you make a plan for each of those goals and it's very specific. Like saying I want to be more fit is a very broad goal, which is probably everybody's goal on this whole world. But when you say I'm going to go to the gym every day for 30 minutes, I'm going to meal prep this amount of calories and proteins and carbs or whatever, like depending on how like detailed you want to get with your goals and plans, but those things is like the physical organization of your desires of the mind, right? So if we're talking about how the mind is super powerful and can accomplish all these things, it doesn't happen like in a snap. It doesn't happen in an instant. Losing weight's the best example, or gaining weight is the best example, because that is such a progressive thing. Again, emphasizing planning specific things and writing it down, making sure it's actually somewhere physically is going to help you out a lot. Is what helps me out a lot. Writing it down, seeing it. That's another way to kind of put it in the air, if you will, to make it happen, you know? Personal manifestation.
So yeah, find something to live for. Find your why behind everything. Make some goals, make some plans for the year, and manifest your destiny, man.
Manifest that.
Manifest it.
Destiny.
I love that girl. Yeah. Anything else you like to add?
I just say life is a glass half full, so enjoy the rest of today.
Or half empty. So drink
out of here.
Drink it while you can.
Chug
Anyways,
Chug
we
it
will see you on the next one.
Adios.